Welcome back. I'm going to talk about some more bass. If you're enjoying these videos, please consider subscribing. Dominic, I'm going to bend his ear now, asking him about time and how he works on his time. So, some of this metronome stuff, can you demonstrate some of this stuff?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I mean, we're talking about pizzicato playing, how to settle. Before we actually get going with metronome, I really, just to settle myself, I like practicing with solos that I've transcribed, you know, Paul Chambers, whoever, Oscar Pettiford, Ray Brown, you know, Sam Jones, all those greats. Or even sax solos. I took down the Hank Mobley solo on Remember, and the Charlie Parker, it's not long, Charlie Parker solo on Donna Lee, and they're great to practice at half tempo. And they really, if you do it, you know, you just keep going each solo for like 10 minutes, just keep repeating. It's a good way to get yourself settled. And then slowly I build it up to full speed. Well, not the Donna Lee solo, because that's pretty quick, but I'm up to 80% on that one. But the other ones the bass solos are up to full speed. And then once I feel I'm really sort of getting it, I'll put the old metronome on. So I like soloing. I like setting the metronome to 60 and just soloing over something. So I'll give you two choruses of a blues. The whole premise is about everything is you start slowly and then you build up the tempo. So that's 2, 2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. The basic thing is, if you could keep the metronome on the 2 and 4, you know you can play in time. You know, that's the thing, isn't it? You know, and if you mess up, it will go on to the 1 and 3. So yeah, you can't play in time if you can't keep the metronome on 2 and 4.
I often found with students that there's a kind of speed that everybody can keep 2 and 4 at, which seems to be like between about, I don't know, say 90 beats a minute and 160, whatever.
Yeah.
And once they get slower than the 90, they start racing.
Right.
And once they get faster than the 160, they're either dragging or they're turning it around. And there also seems to be a point where people start turning the metronome around. But it seems to be a learnable skill. You seem to, you know, lots of people seem to be able to push those barriers wider.
Yeah.
I mean, do you find that you can play faster and faster walking with on 2 and 4? Can you keep the sound of it in your ear?
Yeah, when I do for up-tempo walking, I do, because that's on 2 and 4 on, you know, well, for the faster walking, then I do a slightly different exercise. So I'll set it to 150 and I'll say that's the 2 and 4, and I'm just going to do walking. I'm not going to do quaver lines. You go 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that's for up tempo things.
Well,
that's 150, so that's 300, and I go up in tens. So I ended up. Oh, sorry, chaps. I try, and then I want to. That's for up tempo things, and I want to end at 200, so it's 400, and that's the fastest you're not going to play faster than 400. You know, so just.
Well, it's a hell of a thing to see you go into that cold. I mean, you know, you would tend to build up to that perhaps when.
Okay, let's put 180 then. Let's see if we get 180. So 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. when I'm in practice, got a little bit of Christmas chops at the moment, but I mean, when I, having a good day, I'll do like 10 minutes at 150, 10 minutes at 160, 10 minutes 170, 180, 190, and then you end up at 200. So, and you're really, your arms are really going at that point, So.
Well, I'm glad I asked, because that's a hell of a lick to be just picking up from. I should add that when I met Dominic 30 odd years ago, he was practicing. He said, I remember him telling me, he said, "Oh yeah, well you never know, you might get a gig with." He'd name a couple of jazz players, and you're expected to play at 400. So I've been practicing playing at 400, but he'd have the metronome on beat 1 only at that time. I don't know. Does that sound familiar? A long time ago.
I don't think I put the metronome on beat 1. No, I remember doing a record. I was playing with a guy called Tommy Chase, and he was a real nutty drummer from Manchester. He was very balanced because he had chips on both shoulders. So. And then we did a recording once, and I was 23. I hadn't only been playing for about 2 years. I didn't really know what I was doing, and we did a recording of the American saxophone player, and me and him just a little duo, and he just politely said, "Hey, you got to work on your time." So it was I got my butt kicked there a bit, but I mean,
it's just the idea that here we are 40 years later, and you're still working on it, and you can just cold put on 360 beats a minute with a metronome and 2/4, and just keeping really
well. Yeah,
it's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, well, I find that you do need to do that separately, because when I find I'm playing the metronome, if I'm playing quavers, it's easier. It's like a different thing. So there's a great video recently. There's a great drummer called Joe Farnsworth, and they play with this amazing sax player called Sarah Hanahan, and they play like 410, and they're absolutely killing it. It's a gig live at Smalls. It's really worth seeing, and it's fantastic. But so I kind of think, but if you can play at 400, you're there. But I mean, I did it wrong because I practiced that, but I realise now actually practicing your quavers gives you do that first and then do the walking after. I mean but this is all on. I've been practicing solos at half tempo for half an hour first to get slow everything down and straighten it all out. So I would say the 200 on the 2 and 4, so that's 400. And then I was just going to demonstrate the fastest I play quaver things on the other 2 and 4 would be going back to. So this is sort of at the moment, it's my go-to practicing at the moment. 1 2 3 4 1 2. Solo over it, but it's like, don't worry about the fingering. It's just, can you just not lose the metronome? That's what it is, and that head is such a workout. But it's like, and the other one I'm working on to get full speed is a confirmation. Is I've got to learn. I'm just starting to learn it properly. The reason I'm learning it, by the way, a little advice: learn all Parker heads off the record. Don't read the Charlie Parker Omni book because most of them are wrong. It's there's that bar, 5th bar of the bridge. What is it? It's the way it's written is almost unplayable. But if you do it by ear, you can find a way that works. Because he doesn't. What they play in the bridge, I don't think is what's written. And that 5th bar,
It's something I've heard you talk about a lot, which is you say, I've been practicing the wrong things. I've discovered actually I should have been practicing this.
Yeah.
Because quite a few of the things you mentioned there, you're saying, I was practicing the wrong way around. Like you're saying, actually you want to start with the quavers before you get up to the.
Yeah.
And then there's another example right there. Talking about transcribing everything as opposed to relying on. I have friends who taught themselves to play, like rock guitarists, they taught themselves to play by ear. Yeah. And then I ask them about it and they go, I've got lazy now. You can just find a tab, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas, when they started playing donkeys years ago, everything came off the record. That's one of the tricky things about teaching actually, because most of my, not all of my heroes, but a lot of my heroes, you know, played, you know, learned to play. I mean, and in the end, it seems to be all the best players seem to transcribe stuff. You know, that seems to be. If I had my time again, I suppose we all say that, don't we? So,
well, I've got terrible ears, and so I need to practice a lot. I'm still in the thing of finding out whether I want to be in the moment. And Paul Chambers heard what he played. That's why I think he's amazing. And it's all about hearing what you play. And if you're thinking, this scale to this scale, you're thinking abstract. You know, if you're actually playing what you hear and you're in the moment, it's going to be more vital. I mean, that's just me. But then again, you know, you get players. Everyone thinks of it differently. There's no one way to play. I'm just saying that's right for me. Actually, can we stop there?
Yes, we can stop there.